David Benson, Rohit Mittal, Simon Newman Brennan, and Peter Tian. And here's our solution. Admittedly, it's been a struggle to grow the Apple Cinnamons Cheerio brand. Despite a significant loyal customer base, significant investment to invigorate the brand has proved fruitless. We at ProStars believe we have the right approach. And to do that, what we did was take a look at the breakfast food industry as opposed to just the cereal one. To illustrate what I mean, I'd like to introduce you to On the Go Joe. On the Go Joe is a Canadian male who lives in a suburb of a major Canadian city. Every day, he must commute from his suburb to his place of work. In the morning, Joe spends about 45 minutes getting ready for work and leaving. Now, when Joe leaves, he would like nothing more than opening his fridge, opening his cupboard, grabbing a bowl of cereal, reaching for some milk, sitting down, and having a great bowl of cereal. The problem is, Joe has no time. He has no time to sit down and enjoy that meal. So what Joe does instead is he grabs a bagel, a breakfast sandwich, or a cereal bar, and eats that either on the way to work or at his desk when he reaches. And to talk more about consumers like Joe, I have Rohit Mittal.
Thank you, Tommy. Now, as Tommy talked about convenience and being on the go, if you look back in time and think about checking your emails on PCs and laptops, and how we've transitioned from doing that to checking our emails on iPhones and Blackberries, it has become so convenient to do that, and we value that time factor so much, and it has given us more time to do our own things. So those are our key value drivers, convenience and mobility. So this is what we are looking to target for Apple Cinnamon Cheerios, where Joe cannot eat his breakfast because he's time constrained. So we are looking to make Apple Cinnamon Cheerios on the go for a modern breakfast consumer like Joe, who's middle and upper class and whose demographic is middle and upper class, and who lives in an urban or suburban area. So why to reposition Apple Cinnamon Cheerios? Now, NPD Market Research conducted a research in 2008 about the eating patterns of Canadians, and they found out that eating breakfast in the morning is driven by 4 key factors, that is health, habit, hunger, and hurry. Now, Apple Cinnamon Cheerios caters to all the health, habit, and hunger factors. For example, for habit, we have a loyal customer base, For hunger, we have a very good taste for Apple Cinnamon Cheerios, which fills their hunger. But if you talk about hurry, the same market research has proved that 84% of the breakfasts are made within 5 minutes. So we don't have any presence in that sector. So instead of competing with cereal makers, we should be looking to get a market share from the on-the-go breakfasts like bagels and sandwiches, as Tammy already mentioned. So we need to differentiate. So Sam will talk about how we need to differentiate for Apple Cinnamon Cheerios.
Okay, so to get these customers that we're just mentioning here, our target market, to try Apple Cinnamon Cheerios and incorporate it into their daily routine, we've come up with what we think is a pretty exciting and new design for a cereal cup. So you'll see it here, and it looks, on the outside like many other cereal cups. It has similar specifications. But where it differs is there is actually a milk cylinder in the middle, a holder in the middle, where you can store milk and keep it separate from your dry cereal. So how it works in some simple, easy steps would be that you'd pre-fill this cylinder with milk either at night and store it all in the fridge, or just in the morning as you're running out of the house. And so you put the lid back on and you'd go. So whether you're on the TTC or whether you're at work, wherever it is you find time to have your morning breakfast, you can pop open that lid or peel off that lid and then actually pop the center. And as you pop the milk cylinder out, that milk will flow into your bowl of cereal, and you have a nice fresh bowl of cereal as if you're sitting at home on your kitchen table. And then, so to highlight some of these points, obviously as I just mentioned, it's very portable with the milk cylinder and the spoon attached. It's very novel. We think it's a great product, and it's going to increase our market exposure just in and of itself, because people will see their coworkers and people on the TTC using it. They'll be asking about it, and it'll just increase the brand in that way. And also, we made the packaging completely made out of recyclable plastic, so that not only is it easy to toss out in the recycling bin when you're on the go, but it also fits with the values of our target market and target segment, and has that green and sustainable characteristic to it. So now I'll pass it off to Pete, who will continue on with the marketing aspects of it.
Thank you, Sam. So yeah, now to talk a little bit about our strategy of implementation, we thought that there would be 3 stages to this. So first, we have the preliminary stage. In this preliminary stage, we approximate that the lead time for development will be about 3 months. So this will include developing and perfecting the design of the bowl, as well as allowing time to set up our plant for production. The next stage would be stage 1. So before we actually roll out the product nationally, we want to use a large metropolitan area like Toronto as a test market. So first, we would introduce the bowl as a free sample at commuting hubs in Toronto, such as subway, train, and bus stations. And we feel that these consumers are more likely to have busy lifestyles and that they will benefit from our product. We'll outsource this task to one of the many promotional agencies in the area. Now next, we'll also suggest placing banner ads in public transportation. So here we have a mock-up of one such ad, and here we can see on-the-go Joe on the subway, and he's surrounded by other commuters, but here you see the kitchen light dawning down on him, and he's overwhelmed by this feeling of nostalgia. So this is sort of bringing back feelings for him when he had, to a more simpler time when he had time to sit down at the table and have breakfast. So this stage, stage 1, will last approximately 1 to 2 weeks. Now next, stage 2, we'll focus on rolling out the product nationally, into retailers. So marketing in grocery stores will consist of kiosks where consumers can taste test the cereal as well as try out the peel and pop product. Developing a strong relationship with these retailers will allow us to have as many as these in-store demonstrations as possible and give us favorable shelf space relative to other brands. So also to supplement this, we'll also have creative in-store and point-of-sale advertisements. So we envision this stage lasting approximately 2 months. Now after the successful test in Toronto, we'll use this plan as a blueprint in order to roll out the product in other large metropolitan areas. So after these successful tests, the product will then be rolled out nationally. Now next, to talk about our projected sales growth. Here in 2011, we can see that our growth is at whatever level it is, 100%. And over the next 2 years, we can see that in 2012, it will grow to approximately 170, and ending in 2013 of our goal of doubling sales. So now, next to talk about our brand goals is Dave.
Thanks, Pete. So everything we've talked about kind of leads to 3 main brand goals for this campaign. So first of all, we want to improve the unaided recall of Apple Cinnamon Cheerios from a fairly dismal 3% up to 10%. And this is going to be done primarily through the novelty of the new product design. We envision when you bring this into the office, your coworkers are going to ask, what is that? What is that core that you're pulling out? And when you tell them, Apple Cinnamon Cheerios will be associated with the new product design. The second is just as important, and that is that we want to avoid brand cannibalism. So the new design is going to target substitutes like bagels, breakfast sandwiches, cereal bars, and the big point here is that the main Cheerios legacy brands like Yellow Box Cheerios and Honey Nut will be unaffected by the sales growth that we envision. And the third point is obviously why we're here. We plan to double the Apple Cinnamon Cheerios revenue within 2 years by satisfying the value drivers of middle and upper class consumers who value convenience, mobility, and a little bit of nostalgia. So we'll leave you just with our new updated branding positioning statement. For breakfast eaters on the go, Apple Cinnamon Cheerios provides convenience and great taste while delivering health benefits that we're going to erase that part. Thank you for your time. We'll open up the floor to question and answers. Questions.